let's get to this Indy thing before we forget. Oh yeah, so yeah, we went to Indy, folks, for the tournament.
Ah, yes, the Circle City. We caravaned down on separate paths, but our roads led together, and hence the trip to March Madness. No, not getting COVID at a day spa, sitting down and watching a basketball game together.
Yes.
Yes, folks, the first event to really get canceled last year was March Madness. And this year, the NCAA came together, put their collective heads together, and decided to create a bubble
took every single one of their
tournament.
single tiny brain cells together and gave us this.
They used their student athletes. They got all 68 teams to play in. Where other than the basketball capital of America, Indiana.
Can I just say one thing that I actually liked? On the way down here, the closer I got to Indy, I saw signs that just said March Madness and all the hype, and I'm like, oh shit, they're going all out. This is fucking legit.
They did really.
I feel like they did really well with bringing this whole thing together.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. Into town, it felt like a miniature Super Bowl.
As much as I basically say this because it's the NCAA, you guys actually did a good job. I will give you 5 hands.
Congratulations!
Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 hands. 5 hands. You put together an awesome little thing for Indy. Nice little tournament, and so far, mostly everything came together well.
A nice distraction from not paying your student athlete.
Oh, yeah, they could go.
I know, that joke's going to get old super fast.
That joke's going to get old because we're going to abuse it every week.
We had one team get screwed over, unfortunately. And
they got screwed over, unfortunately.
This was bound to happen, and thankfully, as of right now, as of this taping, they are the only team that has been affected by it. Virginia Commonwealth University was unable to play its first round game against the University of Oregon because of COVID protocol.
And supposedly, the story they had at the time, I have not looked since. Let me actually look. Let me get this right.
Folks, imagine gathering together in a bubble. Imagine having almost all your rights stripped away in terms of being able to free roam around the beautiful city of Indianapolis. Imagine being confined to your hotel, the basketball arena, and a specifically chosen location. And imagine going through all this protocol and all this only to find out your team's not playing.
All right, so
for the Rams and for the members of the university, I apologize.
So the latest information I found is that VCU is currently blaming the hotel stay from the Atlantic 10 title game as the cause of this.
Oh, jeez.
Now,
where was the game?
The Atlantic 10 tournament. It was at...
Was it in Ohio?
Yeah. It was in Dayton, I think.
Oh, God. Yeah, poor Dayton. Oh, Dayton.
But the funny thing is, considering not only did VCU stay at that hotel, the officials and their opponents, what was it, St. Bonaventure? Yeah, St. Bonaventure.
No. Oh, yeah.
St. Bonaventure.
It was St. Bonaventure.
They all stayed in this hotel. And surprisingly, St. Bonaventure does not have cases. None of the refs that I'm aware of have cases. Only VCU does. So I have 2
there's
theories.
A lot.
There is 2 theories I have, and I guess when there's more information, if I find it or if it's released, I'll follow up on this. But my first theory is that, since it's Dayton, Ohio, and a lot of people weren't wearing masks at hotels, that they got it from someone there.
I would assume that would be the case.
My second theory is that maybe, just maybe, because I don't know what test they use and how soon they get the test back, but and we talked about this when it first happened. I thought originally that maybe one of the people who was volunteering to get stuff for the team, maybe they had it. But I would assume if they had, that a lot of other teams would be at risk. But since it's only VCU, I'm going to assume that's not the case.
I would assume if that was the case, it would have been more just a volunteer. It would have had to been more like a couple players.
Yeah, that's what I say. It would have,
or maybe a couple of team officials.
Well, you need one to really start it. But the thing is that in order for it to spread like that, other people would have definitely been infected, depending on who this volunteer was in contact with. That's why I'm saying it probably wasn't that.
But VCU was the only team that suffered from this rule. However, as for the other teams, let's just say there was a lot of action. But first, me and Coffee attended a game.
Yes,
yes.
Yes, we.
Was this the direction you want to take? Yes, you did. We attended a game, folks.
Yes, we actually
went. We are crazy.
We are crazy, but we went to what I feel was the safest stadium to go for this. But in reality, it was the only stadium we get because fucking bots are stealing all my goddamn tickets. We went to Lucas Oil Stadium.
Lucas Oil Stadium.
Now, to be fair, I've never been to Lucas Stadium. You've never been to Lucas Stadium. This was a nice experience to be in Lucas Stadium.
This was my top stadium I wanted to go to outside of the Hinkle Fieldhouse up at Butler University.
Right.
But
I do gotta say
Lucas Oil is awesome.
I gotta say one thing about Lucas Oil just in general. I may be a Chicago boy, but I went to school in Indiana. I will admit that. I went to school in Indiana, and what they had in the stadium was helmets from all the high school teams that play in Indiana. I looked up and I saw it, I'm like, oh my fucking God. That blew my fucking mind there. That blew my mind, folks.
It's a surreal experience when you realize that the team really incorporates the identity of the state into their stadium. And that was honestly a really cool feature that I saw.
Yeah.
I like the architecture.
The architecture is pretty freaking. The architecture is pretty
marvelous. The only part I was bummed out about was they had the windows blocked off. I thought it would have been so cool because we were in the nosebleed seats, folks. We cheaped out. We got nosebleed seats, and walking up there sucked.
It sucks so bad. 'Cause the thing is, we didn't realize. I think I think either we didn't realize there were escalators or the escalators weren't in service, so we walked all the way up
to 600 level.
I was ready to just quit after like the fourth floor because I'm like, if I have to walk anymore, I'm going to collapse. No,
it was terrible.
It was the worst feeling imaginable because I thought, please tell. The only cool thing about this is that we ran into a buddy of mine who was actually doing a lot. He was down in Indy for the tournament too. I didn't realize, so we ran into him. So we all make the walk together, and it was actually pretty sweet.
The view from our seats was not bad.
It was not bad. And I would say this. If it was the national championship game, I wouldn't care. I would be fine with that seat. Which means that the seat we got with half the stadium blocked off made it better. The point is, I didn't fucking care. Because you know what reminds me of being in nosebleeds at the United Center.
And it wasn't like we paid hundreds of dollars.
No.
Unlike some poor souls on the secondary market. Some tickets, including the first game hosted at Hinkle, were going as high as $700, folks. There was a lot of price gouging going on. As for the game,
we saw
a 1 versus a 16.
We saw Baylor versus Hartford.
Murder.
Now, I would not say murder. I would say for the first 15 minutes, it was close.
It was close.
I thought, oh my God, is this going to be the one? I'll say, but then the other 25 minutes happened. And I thought, well, shit, yep.
Hartford was making its first tournament appearance, and you could tell there was definitely the awe factor.
Yeah,
in for the first half. And by the second half, reality smacked them in the face.
But hey, guess what? You guys got your NCAA. Like, now you can show in any school basketball package, you can show that one dunk towards the end of the game that got taken away because of the charge. I thought you could use that highlight for every video package now. I don't care if it was a charge. You use that highlight.
However, during the second half of the game.
Start the story from the beginning. Before we start making up our stairs, they were playing a video. Butch, would you care to explain that video for us?
On the television screens along the main concourse of Lucas Oil Stadium, they were showing past upsets. And they weren't just any particular upsets. They were 15 seed upsetting number 2 seeds. Yes, folks. They were showing highlights of the Michigan State Middle Tennessee State game for 2016. That was saying to Coffee right there, dude, we are in store for an upset today. I can be
and then
for the first 15 minutes. For the first 15 minutes, it felt like it in our game.
Keep in mind, it was a 116. That was a 116 game.
I was still getting that it was gonna happen, and lo and behold, it happened. And it just happened to anyone, folks. It happened to the most hated school in all of Ohio, folks. Coffee, go ahead.
Okay, so let me preface it by saying this: during the intermissions, during the media timeouts, they would show other games. They then decided to show Ohio State playing Oral Roberts. And they had upset alert on it. And I first thought, no freaking way. But then they start showing more of the game. We're thinking, holy shit, this could actually happen. And the thing is, all the people in the stadium were getting into it. They were so into it that when they cut back to the game, everyone booed. There was loud booing, and we were part of it.
Hartford called a timeout about 30 seconds later, and it went back to the Ohio State.
And we're looking, and we're thinking, oh my gosh, this is gonna be it.
The seconds ticked away, and as soon as the final buzzer sounded,
the second tick away, and then they cut back, and then again more booing. So me, you, and my friend, there was a guy sitting 3 rows down from us who was streaming the game. So we were all trying to like look over his shoulder, try to see this game. All right, and then there was another timeout, and then they cut back to the screen.
Well, I will tell you, folks, pandemonium.
It was
the final seconds ticked away. The final buzzer sounded,
and Oral Roberts,
number 2 seed.
Now keep in mind that we left out a detail, Butch. The first seconds we tick away before it came out, it went to overtime.
That's right.
It went to overtime. So OT happened. And then that's when everyone said, you know what? We don't give a shit about Baylor versus Hartford. We want to see Oral Roberts versus OSU. And we were not disappointed, folks. When we saw that final buzzer go off and it was officially Oral Roberts 75, Ohio State 72, I swear to God, not only did the whole arena start screaming that this happened, I felt something. It wasn't the Holy Lord, because the Holy Lord is in Loyola, Chicago, folks. Sister Jean is sponsored by God, folks. Yes, I had to get that dig at Butch, folks. But here's this.
Hell.
You know what I actually felt? You know what I actually felt at that moment? I felt, oh my God, we were just part of a moment where I think everyone in Indiana fucking cheered.
I felt a moment too, because, and I'm going to say this and not regret this, Oral Roberts came into Ohio State. Ohio State got blown away.
Oh my God.
Ohio State is now in shambles after a historic upset. And folks, this was not the only one But for me and Coffee, this was the cream on the cherry because we witnessed this at the stadium. This would have been different. Like another upset we came across while we were walking around town. This happened live. This happened with hundreds, if not thousands, of socially distanced people. This was the definition of March Madness, and folks, it was damn beautiful.
Yes, it was glorious.
I will never forget that sight for the rest of my life.
I will never forget that, and the game was pretty fun to watch too. So we had fun.
We had some more notable upsets.
Yes, we had a. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Butch.
We had Ohio beat the. Okay, folks, you got to remember this. 2020, there was no March Madness tournament.
There wasn't even a Big Ten tournament.
Reoccurring the national title champion from 2019, the defending champs, were somehow upset in the first round as a 4 seed, and they lost to the MAC champion Ohio Bobcats. You know that, Maxon Cavaliers? You got bitch slapped by UMBC? You sucked against Ohio. Yeah, not much is expected of you guys, but goddamn, that was a beautiful one.
Actually, I would counter. Everything was expected. These guys were probably like, if there was going to be a 4th seed that was going to win, they were the most likely 4th seed.
We had UCLA.
You don't lose to a 16 seed, win a championship just to lose to a 13 seed. Again.
That's pretty awful.
You don't go from rock bottom. You don't go from rock bottom.
They haven't learned their way since Chimdale.
You don't go from rock bottom to the top of the world back to fucking rock bottom.
I'm not gonna say this was a more notable upset, but UCLA
it was one right
out of the first 4. It is now playing for a chance to get into the Final 4 tomorrow night against Michigan.
Wait, what?
UCLA.
I'm sorry. I was still on Ohio for a moment. Yeah, UCLA.
UCLA had that miraculous upset, that miraculous win. Albion Christian, man, they came out of nowhere and beat Texas at the buzzer. That was beautiful right there. We had let's see, what other notable first round upsets? Rutgers came out of nowhere and beat Clemson. Good for you, Rutgers. Your program isn't relevant.
I would say Syracuse over San Diego State was a bigger one.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Throw Oregon State in
Rutgers was a pity pick, for being honest.
Wait.
That was a pity pick.
Oh, wait, I actually think... let's forget the one where... Remember, when Ohio State lost, the whole state cheered. We went, and then the whole state, Indiana, had its heart ripped out.
Now, you guys had a colossal heart attack in the drive-thru of a Hardee's. Yes, folks.
No, this is... What's classier than a Hardee's?
I don't want to say Steak and Shake because we ate there. I actually don't like Steak and Shake.
No. Five Guys. Oh my god. No.
Yes, folks.
Five Guys is like, oh god. Now I gotta go with the burger scale.
The Purdue Boilermakers somehow lost to the North Texas Mean Green. Yes, you lost to cunt. If you know what I'm referring to.
It actually took me a second. I'm on the app right now looking at the brackets to look up all the upsets, and it took me a second to realize, why the hell are you making that joke? And I'm like, oh, that's why. It took me a second. I'm not gonna explain the joke, folks. If you have the BracketCast app, look up the Purdue North Texas game and just look at what the initials for North Texas is. You'll get it.
Overall, this was a upset riddle bracket. We had a 15, a 14, and a 13
What's
win.
What's the average number of upsets per year in the tournament normally?
I wouldn't know I wouldn't know the exact
someone
number.
has to
I
have.
want to talk about the higher seed. I'm talking about specifically the higher seeds.
No, I just want to say. Okay, quick question, Butch. What do you classify as the upset? Like, what's the gap between seeds have to be counted as a full blown upset?
I'm gonna say it has to be at least a 12 or a 13. Oh yeah, and the Cinderella run that came to an end tonight, Oregon State. We almost forgot about the Beavers.
Yeah. So I would say that in order for it to be an upset, at least by definition, an upset to me, it has to be an 11th seed or lower. So let's look and see, because I think a 10-7 isn't that much of an upset depending on who the matchup is.
I would say minimum 12, but 13 is where it gets juicy. 14 is like no. You know the Vince McMahon chart? Like 16 when Virginia lost the MVC a couple of years ago. I mean, I was going nuts. I literally thought I was gonna put my head through a window.
You told me about this, and like I was sitting down, and you called me. You was like, "Dude, you watching the game?" And I'm like, "What game?" He's like, "Put on the Virginia game." I'm like, "Okay." And then I saw a score. I'm like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!"
I was screaming because that game was nowhere. It was a blowout.
I was absolutely speechless. Like I didn't make a noise. I was on and the sad thing was, and there's two reasons this was sad to me. First off, there are 1 seeds and there are the 1 seed. Virginia was the 1 seed. It's mathematically, that means that it's the best team in the entire tournament taking on the worst team in the entire tournament. By seeding, that's how it's supposed to go. And that was
so beautiful.
And the second thing
Ramblers did it all.
And the second thing that made me speechless when I saw this is the score.
It was a blowout.
Now let's be more forgiving, folks. In a normal upset, if it's like within 5 points, that's fine. It's like, you know what? It's a close game, and the better team won at the end. What was the fucking score of this?
Give me 1 second. I'll have this for you.
I know it was like a fucking at least 15. I want to say.
No, it was near 20.
Oh my god!
It was 74-54.
Oh my god! 54 fucking points is all you can match against UMBC. In my opinion, Virginia should never be. Virginia can have the top talent and be undefeated. They should never get 1 seed ever again in their entire life. To be humiliated like that.
Did redeem themselves.
Now, if it was like, say, 74-71, I'd be like, I'd still be shocked, but it's like, you know what? It's a close game, and it's something like straight out of a movie where the underdogs pulled it off at the last second. This was not that game.
No.
Let's go back to Indy before I have a coronary.
So we had 2 things on this trip: to attend a basketball game and to hit the place where me and Coffee first met. If y'all are wondering, that was in lovely Bloomington at the historic Indiana University.
All right,
folks, if you,
I've ran a few. I don't think I've ever did the rant, but let me just say this: I was actually very, very disappointed when Indiana University said we're not going to allow tickets. We're not going to give tickets. We're not going to have. They had fans, as far as I'm aware. They just didn't release tickets to the public.
Bloomington was packed.
But yeah, that was the thing. The whole school was fucking packed.
Like, people could have get in the stadium, and yet people still came in. The whole time we sat was booked solid.
Now the thing is that it was so packed that we thought for a second that, is the pandemic still going on? Because this looks like a normal fucking day. Because everyone's out and about shopping. No one's wearing masks. It's like, do we just flash back to the pre-pandemic days where it was like
the normal days,
where it was like a normal school semester and everyone is out with their families celebrating? It's like family weekend or something.
It literally felt like family weekend. Like you were hosting a Big Ten team that was about to blow the doors out on those shitty Hoosier football teams. I will tell you this right now, folks. Downtown B-Town was popping, and at night, oh my lord, the
If it
streets
wasn't
were
for the
crowded.
fact that we were trying to social distance, we were trying to find places that weren't packed with people, we would have been in that we would have been in that shit. Every place was filled to the brim with people, and
I
you got people sitting outside waiting to get in.
I was personally disappointed that we couldn't get into Assembly Hall. Yes, it was a great consolation that we were able
We
to
did
get in
bike over there.
Lucas Oil.
We did bike over there, took a few photos.
I will say the renovations they done at both those stadiums it just makes the stadiums feel so much different than when we were there
was that
6
your
years
cat?
ago.
Wait, was that your
No,
cat?
that was the mic dropped. Sorry about that. Am I coming in better now? Apologies.
Nah.
Shit happens. And let's be honest, we had a really great trip. It was. I didn't see this man. I did not see this guy last year.
We were supposed to go.
We saw him,
yeah, go ahead.
We wanted to go to Little Five in Bloomington. I remember talking to him last March about trying to get tickets right before everything shut down.
And you know,
the last event we attended together was when the Tigers played the Royals at Omaha in a preluder up to the College World Series.
And we were even there for like 2 days of the College World Series.
No, we were there on the eve of the College World Series, which made it even more nuttier as how busy, how crowded Omaha was. But
okay. Small story, folks. You know what? No more stories. So basically, that's been basically our Indy trip. We came together. It was freaking grand seeing this guy again in person, in the flesh.
Folks, if we could take one thing away from this, if you have friends or loved ones that you haven't seen since the start of this thing, do make time in the future, because in the end, life is short and we must make the most out of this. And that's the biggest thing I took away from this trip. It was great seeing this man once again. For a couple of days, it actually felt normal to be around someone I had grown to trust over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice getting my sport buddy back.
It was nice screaming at other teams to shoot the ball properly. It felt like I was back in high school. Except the players didn't know who I was and tried to harass me.
Oh, you know what really felt like?
I would have really pissed you off in high school. I know I would have pissed you off.
I know you would have pissed me off in high school, but I'd be dunking on your head, boy. Just remember
that. Oh
my god. I will. Oh my god. All right, so one more thing before we go with the tournament heading into the Final Four weekend. Butch, who do you think is the most likely? Who do you think are your three most likely teams to win the championship?
Oh god.
As of right now, at this very moment.
God, I have to say Gonzaga. Gonzaga has got to be the top dog.
All right, but
really win this all.
Who are the other two?
Baylor, if I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say UCLA. I think UCLA is going to pull off the upset against Michigan tomorrow, and I think they have a legit shot at winning the tournament next week.
All right, I agree with the first two. I agree with Gonzaga. I agree with Baylor because it's right now 46-38 at the half between Baylor and Arkansas. But I'm actually going to go with I'm actually going to go a different pick. I'm going to say Houston has a shot.
I mean, it's definitely up there.
Now, in your opinion, if let's say it's not Gonzaga, it's not Baylor, and just because we're not doing one seed, let's say it's not Michigan. Would it be crazy, and just a summary of this whole pandemic season, if a team like USC, if a team like UCLA, if a team like Houston won?
That would be pretty nutty. I would say it would have been nuttier had Oregon State pulled off the upset against Houston.
It could have been crazy.
It was close, dude. I will say I'm glad we've seen double-digit teams make a deep run like this. Even with Oregon State losing today and missing out on getting it to the Final Four, you can't be disappointed by this showing. I mean, UCLA, a team that had to play for their lives the first four against Michigan State, has made this far to the tournament. Even USC, dude. We had 3 Pac-12 teams make it to the Elite Eight. Think about that. Michigan, the Big Ten, who had 9 teams in the tournament, is down to their last hope. And there is a legitimate shot that Michigan might not make it. There is a legitimate chance Michigan might not make it tomorrow night. Think about that. We might have 2 teams from 2 non-power conferences representing the Final Four. This is crazy, folks, and this is definitely the perfect representation of the pandemic and all the craziness it's brought out. This has been Cellar County with your host, Butch and Coffee. Signing off, staying safe, and telling Peter to go fuck itself.